Hello everyone, my name is Lisette with the Canadian Helen Keller Centre and I'll be the moderator for today. Welcome to your next breakout session. I would like to introduce Elodie Tiersolon. Elodie Tiersolon is a specialized teacher of deaf children for 10 years. Elodie quickly developed a particular interest in deafblindness. On several occasions, young deaf and visually impaired children have been integrated into her classes. Eager to provide them with quality teaching and adapted materials, she enrolled in the CRESAM, National Resource Center for Deafblindness, training modules on deafblindness. She then joined the deafblindness expert team in the Institute for Young Deaf People in Bourg de Lorraine. I'm making sure I get the French pronunciations correct. To bring a perspective to the actions carried out by colleagues. In addition, Elodie had the opportunity to participate in the very first training session of the University Diploma in Deafblindness given by the University of Reims. It is within this framework that she created the sensory workshop for teenagers with Usher syndrome. Please help me welcome Elodie Tellering.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Elodie. It's easy to remember. It's like melody without M. Unfortunately, I'm not a musician, but it's better for you all that I don't sing, even if today it's a rainy day, but I will not sing. Thanks to the title of my session, Pour You, I have to be funny, so I will make some jokes, and this is for relax me also. Friends of mine gave me good advices. For example, one tells me, imagine all people here in the room naked. This will not help me to be relaxed at all. Another one says to me, break a leg, that will hurt. So, the project Genesis. As a special teacher for deaf pupils, I usually worked in my classes with teenagers with Usher syndrome. And after, today I'm not teaching, I'm coordinating the deafblindness expert team at my institute in Bourg-la-Reine. Our deafblind expert team was created in 1998. At the beginning, it was a collaboration between an ophthalmologist and psychologist to support teenagers and their families with Usher diagnosis. But now, our expert team, there's an orthoptist, a psychomotrician, there's a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, we have a locomotion instructor, we have a lot of professionals. And what we try to do is that the visual impairment do not hinder the progress of each child in our institute. We do not have one class with all Usher teenagers. There are one in this class, one in this other class, and we try to do the best that they can, even if they got visual impairment, they can do the same as the other pupils. And in 2013, I was in the first edition of the Deafblindness Referent University Diploma, and there at the end of this year of this university diploma, they ask her to try to find innovative solution for deafblind people.
So I'd like to come to the federal definition of deafblindness. This is obviously from the US.
In my dissertation, my targeted deafblindness group was secondary deafblindness and Usher syndrome. Because in our institute, usually in France, in the Institute for the Deaf, there's 1 or 2 students with Usher syndrome. Thanks to the expert team, other institutes in Paris area refer youngsters with Usher syndrome to our structure when they start secondary school. So I think everyone knows well about it, but in our institute, there's a lot of teenagers with Usher syndrome type 1. We support in the Institute of Bourg-la-Reine 170 deaf pupils. In those, 15 are deafblind, and 8 of them are teenagers with Usher syndrome type 1.
Give you a framework. So I propose this tactile threshold model. It is a
Why do I write experiences, obstacles, and compensations? It's because every teenager is different, has a proper pathway, proper environment. Even if they have the same visual field, their functional vision can be different. For one person, it can change also during the day, if they're tired or not. But usually, regarding their visual impairment, there's denial. The visual impairment can be a source of anxiety, and they refuse to stand out. In our institute, as I said before, the teenagers with Usher syndrome can be there can be one in this class, one in this other class, and what we propose to our professionals is raising awareness trainings. I'll show a video. For example, this is a teacher, and she's working with youngsters, and we put glasses, and she tried to do an exercise, the same exercise as she can give to the child that is deafblind in his class. Here is another example. They are trying to cut something. Here is the team that works with teenagers in the kitchen. So she tries to find all stuff to do the recipe.
It's not perfect. We can talk about that, but you have to start somewhere. You had to define.
So we raise awareness among professionals in the place where they work with teenagers. Boarding school, professional kitchen, or classrooms. Recently, we're using this low vision simulator because with it we can cumulate visual impairments. With visual impairments simulation glasses, we can't add photophobia. With this one, we can add photophobia, we can add other visual impairments, which is really important because we try to get as close as possible to each student's functional vision. After that, we give our colleagues this accessibility sheet. In this sheet, there is no medical informations. It's only functional informations. For example, for the communication, we give advises, for example, for the sign language, pay attention to the amplitude of the sign. Your sign had to be like that. Do not sign against the light. A lot of advices, even in documents, even when they're writing in the whiteboard. We give them a lot of advices.
And are there group level differences based on teacher certification?
Example of school adaptations that we give in this sheet. Use, I don't know if you know this font for documents, which is called Luciole. It's a French team who has created recently this font. Because in French, when we use Arial font, in French we have to say he, we say il, it's a I and a L, and when the I is I and the L is small in Arial, it's the same visually. So they have created this, and this can be used also for persons who don't have deafblind, or don't have deafblind, who have, for example, dyslexia. It can help a lot. On the whiteboard, avoid red and green markers. We also have markers who have a huge. They're not thin when you're writing. They're bigger, so it's better. So we can give them the right markers. Simplify and increase the contrasts of geographic maps. And in class, reformulate class discussions, because when there's in our classes, in our institute, there's at least 10 students, but when the teacher asks a question and there's one student that wants to answer, and it goes so quickly that the teenager with Usher syndrome can know what he's saying and what. And the best thing is to reformulate, to say, wait, he's talking, and what he's saying is that. Reformulate, it's the teenager don't have to search who is talking, who is singing, and it just is looking at the teacher, and it's less tiring. As a teacher, I was asking myself, why is it so difficult to set up adaptations for teenagers with Usher syndrome? I think I have the answers, but are they aware that they need help? Are they afraid of being rejected by their deaf peers? What are their perceptions of visual impairments? And what do they know about deafblindness? The title of my dissertation was, Is it a taboo subject to talk about visual impairments with deaf teenagers? I think it can be a taboo subject, but to answer this question, I decided to ask directly the teenagers. So, the first question, what's Usher syndrome? In front, can see in the side, it's a problem they don't see behind. I want to add that they are a little bit blind. Actually, they see in front, but not behind. Also, not forget the contrast. There has to be strong contrast, such as black, in order for them to see. So this teenager knows a little bit. I think it's my fault that she's saying that someone can see behind, because when I was a teacher, I said to them, be careful. Even when I'm writing on the whiteboard, I can see what you're doing. So I think it's really my fault that she said that. This student, as you see, Usher.
had the classroom teachers react 20 minutes
Usher, does it mean concentrate?
time, not on either side of the vacation.
So why does she ask me, does it mean concentrate? Because in French Sign Language, we say Usher like that and concentrate like that.
Period of time.
That's why. So this student doesn't know anything about Usher.
There are a lot of studies that have observed students for entire days.
This one?
only
Usher, oh yes, yeah, I know about it.
of high communication.
For Usher, for example, they won't understand with your brown t-shirt. For example, a white color, a black color t-shirt is needed to be understood. For people of black color, a white t-shirt is needed so they can see.
Mostly morning meetings.
This teenager was in class with another Usher syndrome teenagers. The next question, would you like to learn more about deafblindness? So the first girl, I'm interested, of course. I would like to know how they are dealing with it in daily life. For the blind people, it's okay, they can hear. But deafblind people, how do they manage?
It came from what we were trying to capture was
I always put this student after because she makes me laugh with the expressing.
child's perspective. What was coming out.
Of course, it is interesting, but still, it's complicated. It's too difficult.
Really worked nicely.
Completely deaf and blind. We don't know who is in the front of us. It's too hard.
Now thinking about how we use Zoom, it would be interesting to kind of do this on Zoom.
And this boy, I think it's interesting. It's a short answer as a teenager can do, but it's quite clear. They want to learn more about it.
And then teachers completed a post-filming survey each
Sorry.
day, telling us what was happening. Was this a good day?
Dissertation results. What is Usher syndrome? 45% they don't know.
Some idea of what we were looking
45% they just
for survey with that.
say visual field,
And then they also
and 10% contrast.
online portal.
And do you want to learn more about deafblindness? Almost 80%, yes. 16%, I don't know. So that's why I decided to create a workshop.
What these videos look like. So just to
My workshop, I wanted it to be non-stigmatizing. So I proposed it a group of teenagers, whether they were deafblind or not.
severe or profound disabilities or deaf blindness. This
For the first edition, I invited teenagers, but no one came. I had prepared some cakes because I know that teenager eating, it can fit. I went up to the boarding houses. You want to try one cake? So come, just try before the workshop, and after you will have a cake.
so that also for the student
It have to be playful. I usually begin my workshop like this,
those levels in a little bit. That skill
like with these socks,
was that a
and I ask them, who want to smell my socks? And they know me, so they say no, I prefer not smelling your socks, even if I'm putting mint inside. So that's why I will say what I will say after. What I want in this workshop is shake up senses, is let them understand that even if they are using their vision a lot, sometimes vision can give false informations. Be careful. With me, your vision will give you false informations. And it has to be transposable. Everyone can do this workshop everywhere. The workshop objectives. For deaf and visually impaired youth, it's to discover and experiment with compensatory techniques and become aware of brain plasticity. They used to use their vision and a little bit of touch, but they can change. The brain plasticity can help them. So it's to experiment to be less anxious. In French Sign Language, we said you touch to be less anxious. For the young deaf people, the objective is to discover and experiment with techniques for accompanying deaf people with associated visual impairments. So it's to experiment, to understand, and not reject.
And has very limited motor control. So the teacher and the classroom staff, we coded what was happening. Their primary
The beginning of the workshop, it was a test for my dissertation, and the teenager were 15, 16 years old. At that age, sometimes exercises using touch was difficult. I don't want to touch this girl. I don't want to. No, I'm shy. So it's better when they are 11, 12 years old. It's easier. It's not mandatory. If they don't want to do this exercise, they won't do it. And I had an excellent feedback with my first edition, so I decided to run it systematically in class of deaf 12 years old. For example, I begin also with this type of exercise. So we have a picture with a lot of things drawn, and I give them 10 seconds, and after I do like this, and I ask, for example, where are pineapples? Do you remember where are pineapples? Yes. For example, we propose this exercise, and we exchange with each other. We exchange of each strategy to find the good answer. And after, we propose 30 seconds, and you try to find another thing. I co-hosted this workshop with the orthoptist, so she gave advices to how we can see and observe this kind of picture, and to find, well, the information. With the time, right? It's okay? And what is important that when I'm doing this exercise, they see that sometimes it's so hard for me, and they are better than me. They can be better in this exercise than others, teenagers, and every teenager can find a sense or an exercise easier than another. So they always reach to do an exercise. The taste? It was good. Blindfold is not mandatory. They can close their eyes if they want. I put I don't remember what I put inside, but it was strange. It wasn't only chocolate. I propose also exercises with the touch. The instructions are really short because I want them to find a way to do this exercise. I don't want them to know, oh, I have to do like this, like no. They have to experiment, and they have to find their way to do the exercise. We were really surprised because this teenager had problems to concentrate. It was difficult to stay in class long time. This exercise, so there's a format. He has to replace the letter blindly. And this is another game, and I asked them to make a square. So she's trying to make a square. She's trying to make a square, but she's only putting 1 and 4. It's the way that she makes it. And after, we analyze how each student is doing the exercise.
So, going back to the certification,
This is the same.
group 2, so that
This is we're using an old game which is called Coloredo. You have colored matchsticks to place in on a grill to make a shape or a drawing.
bad advice.
Here, there's 2 teenagers. One has blindfold, and the other one don't have. But the one who don't have blindfold have 2 different colors, and he's saying to the one who is blind, which color do we have to take?
In the room,
So you can see how they communicate.
3 had the highest level of communication.
He said green, green. He said yes, but after you have to say yes in tactile sign language to be understood.
That picked up the rate compared to actually
They find another way to communicate, the 2 ladies.
a lot of communication that we were seeing in the group 2.
They touch and they find a way to communicate. So it's really
Gives us insight.
important for us to let them
How are you thinking about
experiment
your
and find.
needs, and then what are we seeing in what you're doing?
To communicate, we propose also pass the message,
A new measure. So
writing on the back
figured out
of
what the teacher's primary
the other student.
So it's just a simple of okay,
I can't do this exercise because
for their whole 40 minutes of video, which was the highest. That gave them the primary communication mode.
sometimes with this exercise we do competitions, boys against girls, professional against pupils, and it's funny.
Do we want to see the teacher having their primary being tactile?
Here there is 2 teenagers who have Usher syndrome, and they try to communicate with. It's not tactile sign language, but kind of, and you will see the expression of the lady who don't have a blindfold.
Student with scale, and then whether their teacher matched or not. And even just from here, you can see how we
I'm not sure.
had 4 out of 5 teachers matching.
My mother
Had only 1 of the teachers
works.
matching out of
Where do you mother works?
we have 2 teachers.
My mother works. She's cleaning,
Interestingly, also was
and she's happy because the other student understood what she's saying.
and sometimes
She asked her on holiday, "What will you do?" And they find the way to communicate, and it's complicated. It's not the right tactile sign language, but still they know that they can communicate with each other, even if one can't see.
so overall,
I know that some teenagers who have the workshop when they are in the street, when it's night, when they're even in the street, there are not enough lights. Some educators told me that they are using tactile sign language to communicate.
so it goes back to just reinforcing
We also propose tangram. So a teenager who is seated on a table in front of tangrammed forms, and the other have to communicate with him, only touch him the back.
communication levels. So the students, the teachers who match
So they find their proper code to communicate.
higher communication levels, scale 1 to 7, with the students
And she's adjusting each piece of tangram to place it in the right way.
There's only one point in time. We can't say, oh, that caused this, right? But it's interesting to think that,
It's so difficult for me, this one.
it's easier for those teachers to match because the students had higher levels of communication, or did the students have higher levels of
But
communication?
they do it
because the
really,
teachers
really,
were
really
able to
better.
match, and they were aware of that accessibility piece of what they were doing in the classroom.
We also propose exercises moving with the
Who were below
guide technique.
So we had 5,
The lady with the blindfold has Usher syndrome.
10 who did not. We're at a
We can see that the balance is not good.
looking just how it breaks down.
Even in the stairs, we propose it.
So 5
It's not as slow. I don't know why my video is like that.
in this study were at the language
At the end of the workshop, we asked the teenagers to create something. 1 year they have created a raising awareness video. So they were in a class situation, and one teenager come and is always late, and we think he don't understand what we are saying. It's really, really difficult to communicate with him. And after they have done the same video, but with the view of the teenager with Usher syndrome.
the teacher
This creation is another one. They choose this painting and they wanted to adapt it for a blind person.
communication level associated with sensory, the level of dual
So in 3 dimensions.
this was a really
My
heterogeneous
video.
sample. It wasn't simply
It doesn't work, sorry.
kids
So we can see that they have done the same painting.
so they had language.
Thank you. And they have chosen every part of the painting with blindfold.
Or even were verbal.
So the person who is
They were always
discovering it is a friend of mine who is deafblind.
can surprise us, and that's where
So he said, yes.
this is really important.
He told me the different parts of the painting, and the students were really, really happy to see how their work was used with a deafblind person.
The teacher matching. The teachers were more likely to match when the student had a lower dual sensory load.
There's a lot of positive aspects of the workshop. It can develop senses.
The most significant.
There's a lot of interaction, even with teenagers who, I don't like you, why are you talking to me? We propose exercises, and we want, even if they are not good friends, we not force, but we try them to work together, to understanding also the truth, the trust, awareness, respect,
I have a few more videos ahead.
helping others,
How each of the groups look.
innovation,
So just implications.
and fun. This is the most important word, fun, because with teenager it's easier when you propose things playful and having fun.
Language modeling with
And after that,
anything
after workshops,
to deafblindness, and that we need to be augmenting language for our students.
we propose learning. We propose to learn tactile sign language if they want. We propose also to meet deafblind people. As you can see, the deafblind lady is really, really happy to communicate with a teenager.
And overall, teachers are primarily
And we organize with a friend of mine on the 27th of June of this year. We organized the Deafblind World Day in Paris in the Ministry of Health. And we didn't have enough volunteers, enough sign language interpreters. So I asked the teenagers who had the workshop if they wanted to come and to be a volunteer, and they accept. There were 25 teenagers with us, and they accept. And this lady, this teenager, was she was copying the sign language interpreter in tactile sign language, and it was really, really. It was an amazing experience. So proud of them. They're amazing. I really like to work with teenagers because they can be so complicated, but they can be so amazing too.
signs, manual word signs.
This is a testimonial from, I don't know if you remember, this was the lady with the blindfold. And now she's 27 years old, and she hosted the workshop with me. We tried to propose this, and that's what she said. Last year, I hosted the sensory workshop game with deaf pupils. What was positive were the activities and games. I noticed that the atmosphere was friendly and positive. The disadvantage was that I couldn't visually follow the exchanges in sign language in this group. It was difficult. The students couldn't follow the advice I gave them. But on the whole, it was good. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any question, just...
Thank you so much, Elodie, for this wonderful presentation. We'd like to open up the floor for any questions.
Cross the river. Ha-ha. Splish splash. Splish splash.
Hello, this is Tura from Norway. Thank you for a lovely presentation. It was fun and interesting, and I got a lot of new ideas. I work with adults with deafblindness in Norway, and I was actually wondering about those glasses you had, the simulation glasses.
Yes.
Where do you buy them, and how much do they
France.
cost?
It's called Flu. Flu in English. I don't know how to traduce it. Can someone? Blur. It's blur. It's so you can try it after if you want, and I'll give you the training to sell it in the whole world. They only sell it in France now, but they want it too. So you can try this experiment and see if it can be better, good for you. Yeah, because we know that raising awareness training, it's important, but to be, as I said, as close as the functional vision of the person, and this simulator can do it. Mm-mm.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So just a really nice interaction. And I think this is the sort of thing that we want to see in more classrooms. I feel like we don't always see this set up.
This is awesome. I love the disability awareness. My name is Lauren Lieberman, and we do a lot with disability awareness, trying to help educate kids, understand the kids in their classes for like physical education. And I liked how they had like, okay, here's a piece of artwork, and how would you make it accessible for someone who's deafblind? Have you ever done that with anything related to sports or recreation? So here's an activity or a game. How can we include these people in that activity or game? Did you include anything like that?
We didn't, but I think we should do it, yes, because here is a few examples of a kind of activity you can propose, but we can open and we can propose other things. So yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
We have to
Yes,
talk about
like
it.
showing what they can do,
Yeah.
not what's really hard or difficult,
Yeah.
and pitying. And because like we made a volleyball game, it's called Usher's Friendly Volleyball. Everybody with Usher syndrome can play it, and saying, oh,
Of
they could
course.
play volleyball. So like kind of opening their eyes like you did, like all these different things and ways that they can do it. I just think that's it's also something that kids can relate to.
Yeah.
You know.
Even in badminton, is it like
Yeah.
this?
Uh-huh.
When you choose the not a white, thing.
Birdie, the birdie.
That's it. When you choose an orange or a red, it can be better and they can be amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just want you. What can we do? What kind of activity can we do with this? For example, so this is
Carton of eggs.
Thank
It's a
you.
carton.
What do you think? What can we do with this?
Finished with the dirt? Is the dirt finished? Yes or no?
Thank you. Braille. We can teach Braille with little balls, and you can teach Braille. We use the letters that you see before. I propose this type of exercise. I have to find with the boy who had problems to concentrate, if you remember, and so many videos. This exercise. So they had to to find a letter, and after to go quickly and to try to put it as a braille, the same letters. If it was an A, just one ball here, and it was a competition. So they also learn braille with this type of activity. With this, we can also propose a memory exercise, and you will put here different colors, and after you hide this part,
Stick it on.
you cover this part,
cover it.
and they have to remember which color were in which part of the side hidden. So it's nothing here. We all have this kind of thing, so we can use it to propose an activity for the sensory workshop. So it's really you can do it in your institute, and you can create other activities, and it's really open.
That's very creative. One more question?
All right, now look at your
En français.
Say it in English. Hi, I'm Jean-Marc Cholette from the French Deaf-Blind program in Ontario. I teach at Ottawa U. Now it's time to give something back. Did you ever have a teenager with Usher having to use the first cane, white cane, sorry, for the first time, and being shy about it, and the other people, the other teenagers,
Encourage.
Have you ever had an activity I can't find the English word, pour sensibiliser, merci. How would you say that in English?
So we saw the planting, the tax.
No, not quite. Pardon me? Thank you. To make the others aware of how this friend now, classroom friend, needs to use his white cane, and it's very hard for boys to be touching other boys, and also things like that.
Mm-hmm.
When he first hears that he needs a white cane, have you ever come across this situation?
We propose raising awareness for the professionals if the teenager is okay with that. And also, we ask them the question, are you okay if we raise awareness to the other pupils in the classroom? Usually they don't want to, so we don't do it. If they don't want to, we don't do it. But we have a teenager who comes and is 16 and is using white can, and is sleeping in the institute, and he shows the white can to other teenagers, which was really whoa, amazing. Yes. You can do it. And he's proud of it. He explained well that he needs it not full day, only when he's going out in the street, only for special situation. And we are organizing meetings with Usher syndrome teenagers all together, and this teenager showed again the white can, and one girl, when she saw the white can, she's do like, oh, no, I don't want to see, I don't want to touch. And this teenager, look, you can touch, you can, it's easy to I do it in sign language to use, and after you can have it in your bag, and you don't have to have it every time. He can explain that in the street he's not using it like that, only like this, to let other person view that he has a white can, so they have to push. And he can explain that it's easier for him to move and to go in the street, and it's less tiring for him. Yeah. And we have this teenager, and we try. It's a help for us for other teenagers with Usher syndrome. Yeah.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Question. I hope this is clicking, and there's more work to be done. This is sort of just scratching the surface. And
No? Just double checking one more time. Merci. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so much.
Elodie, for this awesome presentation.
Thank you.